Independence Day!
Huh?
No!
All right, I'm not quite sure how the what do you call it? How the actual, like, do I say go and they play it? I'm not sure how that works, but it'll be something like that. I'll say, oh, nice, that's good. It's movie-ish. First of all, I want to say thank you guys for coming out tonight. It's really, you know how we feel about this cause and this school, and it's amazing that you guys came out here. I know some of you traveled quite a distance, and I thank you so kindly for that that gesture. Just the being here is amazing, and everything you've done as far as purchase of tickets or raffles or posters really goes to an amazing cause. And our representatives from AFSP are here tonight too, so we're going to talk about that later. But yes, what an amazing concern. Yes to that. David, do you want to say a quick hi? You have nothing to say. Okay.
We're just so happy for this community. I mean, we're so blessed, and you've been there for us when things were low, when things were high, and everything in between. And it really means a lot to us. And you know that this is such a personal journey for us, and we hope that I have a lot to say later, so I'm not going to say anymore. But I won't blow this speech. But just thank you, and I'm so excited to be playing Man of Steel on the big screen.
Let's go. Yeah, so the movie is Man of Steel. It's about Superman. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but it's anyway, it's an immigrant story. You're gonna love it. It's really cool. But anyway, thank you guys again for coming out. I'm gonna walk back. We're gonna start the movie, and then I'm gonna come back after. We're gonna come back with some chairs, and then we're gonna talk a little bit about the movie.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I am back obviously from Los Angeles and Pasadena for a full circle, and this video is basically just gonna kind of document what happened and what my experience was and just all the cool things that happened. Overall, it was one of the best like weekends of my life in terms of just like, you know, my like kind of aspirations for this channel, and just in terms of like kind of just things that I've wanted to happen for so long, just in terms of, because Zach is like a, you know, one of my heroes when it comes to filmmaking, and you know, I want to in some way pursue that in my life in whatever form that takes. So it was huge to do this, and I just want to show maybe some of the footage I captured spliced into this video at certain points, and you'll see like I got to have pictures with him and Deborah and Damon Caro, who is the stunt coordinator in all of Zach's movies, and Patrick Totopoulos, who's the production designer, who he even drew a Batmobile on one of the full circle posters that I brought home, so that was really, really cool. I want to start off by just saying, you know, we obviously didn't get like any definitive answers on Snyderverse stuff, but I think that's not really what the weekend was about anyway. The good news is that we didn't get a definitive no, because a lot of speculation was going on as to this being a definitive goodbye for Zach from DC, and it really wasn't, because he said basically, and you can watch the full Vero panels on YouTube, on their YouTube channel, that'll like have the entire panel in its entirety for each day, but he said basically like he would love to see it continue in some form. He even declined to fully answer a question about Joker in the Nightmare universe, because he said it would be a spoiler if we ever got to see that. So it's definitely not a no, but it's also not a yes either. It's more of a just wait and see thing. I'm hoping that because Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdi, who are in charge of Warner Brothers Pictures, separate from James Gunn's DC division, that because they helped put this together and because they are on good terms with Zack and they saw how the turnout was so huge for this event and how much money they raised for AFSP, I'm hoping that they can maybe use that as kind of leverage to David Zaslav and say, hey, there's still some demand for this. Even if that continues in like a comic book or animation or something. I know some fans are really against that, but you know, for me, I will take what I can get at this point because, you know, the new DCU under James Gunn is moving ahead fast, and you know, we need to get this story finished sooner rather than later because, you know, a lot of the actors are kind of aging out. You know, Affleck's, you know, almost 50 now, or he is 50, I'm not exactly sure. And then Cavill, you know, he's in his 40s now. And that's not to say they can't play the roles anymore, but I'm just saying, you know, if they even greenlit the films today, it would take them a few years to get it finished. So, you know, that's just the nature of movie making. But besides all that, you know, it was just so much fun to, like, just be there with all of the amazing fans. And that's the other thing I want to mention is I met some really cool people there who I hung out with. Like, I'm going to link all their stuff in the description here, and just so you can go check out their socials and their Twitter and all that, because I hung out with Ben, the Batman artist. He does some really cool Batman cosplay photo shoots with his wife Julia, and she's great too. So I'll go check him out. And but they were awesome. You know, they were really cool people to hang out with, and you know, I think I made some really good friends. And then there was also Restore the Sea on Twitter, and That's Random Words, and a whole bunch of other people, Invictus Prime and his wife. Just so many cool people. And you know, they made the weekend a lot more fun than if I had just kind of been hanging out there by myself, especially from, you know, Canada. You know, I'm most of everybody there was American, so it was kind of, you know, I was kind of one of the outsiders in that sense, but it was really cool. I'll just kind of, I guess, go day by day and kind of tell you what happened with me. The first night I flew in, I was so tired, so I kind of didn't do much. I just kind of hung out in the hotel. But then day one, Friday the 28th of April, was Man of Steel. And so got there a couple hours before because it was, you know, big line. But that was a really cool day because we got introduced to, they had a silent auction going for some Weta Workshop statues. They had, you know, each day you could buy the cool posters and the special t-shirt that Jim Lee designed. I have one, it's still packed away, so that's not why I'm not wearing it today. But that shirt's awesome, and the posters were awesome. One of them designed by a student at Art Center, and that's where we had the first two screenings, was at Art Center. But we saw all that, and then we went inside and we had like a cocktail reception outside on like the terrace area, which had like a food truck and a stone pizza oven and a bar set up, and they were like, it was like super fancy. They had you'll see here, they had a special drink menu that said like Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Justice League, and it was like these cocktails designed for the event. And you know, they used like the good stuff like Don Julio and Johnny Walker Black, and you know, that was really fun. But then out of nowhere, we were just kind of having drinks and mingling and all that stuff, and then Zach just comes and walks out to get a drink just out of nowhere.
Deborah's there too.
Holy shit.
He asked us what we were having.
Man of the hour.
Cool.
I'm shaking.
Put that drink down.
Cool.
I know, right? Wow.
There he is. I can't get a photo.
And of course he got swarmed with everybody there, but you know, the man's so nice that he actually stood and took pictures with everybody, including me, which you'll see my picture here. and he's just so nice, you know. And Deborah was there too. I actually talked with her for a little bit, told her where I'm from, and you know, we just had a really nice interaction. And yeah, we ended up starting like 20 minutes late just because of that, but you know, that's okay. You know, got to have a really cool moment there. Yeah, they're just so gracious that they were just so appreciative that people actually came down and supported AFSP more than anything, because you know, that's what this is more about than just the movies. You know, the movies are cool, but you know, it's for AFSP. That's the main thing. So we started Man of Steel that night. You know, the Arts Center, one thing that I want to mention, the Arts Center auditorium, the Amanson Auditorium, Zach renovated that, or paid for the renovation a few years ago or a couple years ago. That is one of the most beautiful theaters I've ever been in. It's state of the art. You know, it's actually got like a scope 239 screen in there, and awesome 7.1 sound system. You know, with Man of Steel, the sound was just booming. It was so freaking loud, but in a good way. It was so cool. And then so we watched Man of Steel, and then afterwards there's the Q&A. I'm not going to get too much into that just because you know, it's all on Vero's YouTube if you want to go look at that. I wasn't able to get a question in for any of the 3 days just because, you know, there's 200, 300 plus people, so it's, you know, you're not going to necessarily get a question. So that was a great first day. The second day was BVS, and that day before I went to, or actually, sorry, I want to back up. The Friday before I went to Man of Steel, I went on the WB Studios tour again. And I've been there before, but it's always a good time. You know, you get to see lots of back lots and sound stages, and then you can go and buy a bunch of stuff at the gift shop, which I did, of course. But then the next day, I went to the Academy Museum for, like, you know, the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. And I'd never been there before, but that was really cool because they have a lot of kind of film history artifacts and, like, Oscars, and they had a whole section for The Godfather, which was really cool, of just memorabilia from those movies. And, you know, the film nerd part of me was really excited because they had, like, a section of, like, the start of film with, like, the Lumiere brothers and kinetoscopes by Edison, and just all the, like, early vintage cameras, which I thought was cool. But that's just, like, you know, that's besides the point. So I did that, and then I went straight to Art Center again for BVS. That day was a little different because when they showed BVS, it's a scope screen, so they actually kind of moved the sides in a bit, like with the curtains, because they wanted to show the IMAX scenes for that movie. So they basically did that so that they could have the 239 for most of the movie, but then the IMAX scenes, they would go into 4/3 basically. It's very technical, but basically they were able to show it the way Zach wanted to. Essentially, after that, we had the Q&A again, which again is on Vero, but then after that was when we had our poster signings and just signing in general. And so that's where I met Damon Caro, Patrick Chitopoulos. I saw Deborah again and Zach again. And so that was really amazing. I have one of the posters framed up behind my Snyderverse sort of little display. I still have to frame the other one that has the Batmobile drawing on it. In fact, I have it right here. Hasn't been. The one thing is, these posters got a little dinged up in transit back home, which sucks because they got a little bit of damage on them. But I mean, they're still displayable. It just, you know, I was doing so much running around those days that I didn't think to get like a poster tube to put them in, but because, you know, I didn't go to like Staples or anything to get that. But they still, you know, there's creases and all sorts of stuff on them now, but you know, the important part is that the signatures survived here. But I don't know if you can see, where is that? Yeah, there's the Batmobile that Patrick drew, which is really cool, and then all the other signatures on there, Zach and Deborah and Damon. And these designs are so cool. But I thought the little sketch was cool because that's very similar looking to the initial sketch that Patrick did on like a napkin at like a Starbucks of the the Batmobile back when he designed it, and I just expressed to him, your production design's really important to me because it's like it is so similar to like my aesthetic sort of sensibilities of what I like to see in a movie. So he obviously appreciated that, so he did that, and that was really cool. So BVS was a cool day, but then the big day was day 3 for Justice League, which was not at Art Center. That was at Universal City Walk because they wanted to show it on IMAX, which is like that's like the exact theater where Zach was kind of watching the movie all these years until he got it finished. So essentially that day we kind of got there fairly early because it was actually like 100 more ish people because it's a much larger auditorium than Art Center. So we go in and it's a true IMAX screen, so it's like 1:3 massive scale sort of thing, and it's one of those things where I really hope and wish that WB will do, at the very minimum, do a wide release of the movie in IMAX, because one, nobody's really gotten to see the movie in theaters, period, but also, the whole reason that the movie is shot in the 4:3 style is because it was made to be seen in IMAX, and when you shoot it that way and the way Zach presents it there, the entire movie, the whole runtime is in the full aspect ratio of IMAX, and I don't think I've ever seen a movie do that prior to now. I know that Dune Part 2 is doing that, so that'll be cool, but it fills the entire field of vision for the whole movie, and it's just like visually one of the most amazing things I've ever seen, and most people will not get to see it that way, and it's a real shame. But yeah, watching the movie was amazing. It had the cool intermission with Junkie XL's little score suite playing over it, which was really cool. So that was probably the best experience of just watching one of the movies, even though all 3 were great. And then after that, we had a Q&A, obviously, but it was a little different today because Ray Fisher showed up and Ray Porter showed up. And as a big surprise, Ben Affleck actually stopped in, which everybody went just crazy when he walked in. That was really unexpected and cool. And Chris Terrio was there too, the screenwriter who won for Argo and wrote BVS and Justice League. So that was really cool. Dodie Dorn was there as editor, and DJ, the VFX supervisor. So that was amazing. The whole experience was amazing. I want to address something really quick, though. The Q&As were all really cool just because, Zach and company's answers were very well thought, and, they did their best and they answered the questions to the best of their ability. But the problem is that most of the questions, I would say at least half of the questions each day were very poor and not thought out and really cringe sometimes, to be honest. It's most of the time they picked the worst people possible to answer these questions. Literally the 3rd day on Justice League, you had Chris Terrio there, an Oscar-winning screenwriter, and barely anybody asked him anything. One guy actually on the 3rd day said, "Oh, since Zach and Ben are here, I'm basically gonna say, I'm an editor at such and such production company. Can I leave my resume with you guys?" And everybody, including Zach, who's usually the nice guy, just groaned at this dude, laughed him off, and I felt embarrassed for him. But you ask a question like that, it wasn't even a question. You just said, "Can I leave my resume with you guys?" So such a waste of people's time. And I tried desperately each day to ask a question, and I was thinking of really thoughtful things. I wanted to know about kind of the thematic goals of having sort of Man of Steel being about Superman reconciling with his father figures, and sort of BVS doing the inverse of that with Martha, and Batman, his entire arc in that movie being connected to his mother. And then in Justice League, everybody kind of has these issues of their parental figures and or their upbringing, and they all kind of learn to be sort of this surrogate family through that. And so I wanted to ask like actual like narrative questions, and I would have definitely asked that to Chris Terrio because, you know, he wrote 2 of the movies. But like, man, there was some good questions. And also this one girl, not gonna name who it is, but she sat in the front row all 3 days, and all 3 days she got a question. And I could see on paper how her questions were good because she was asking like kind of sort of similar to me, like thematic sort of questions, but she was like going way too far and pretentious with it, saying like, oh, you know, your movies relate to, you know, political intrigue with like the Iraq War and like you know, whistleblowers and all this stuff. And it's like she just like went on for like 2 minutes just talking about this, and it's like even the guys didn't seem to know how to answer that. And it's like, we get it, you are obviously an intelligent person and you've been educated on this stuff, but like, this is not the avenue to ask this. You know, fans are there to like, yeah, there was so many other things that could have been asked, and then there was just lots of like really cringe things. Like one guy asked about if Zach will ever release another 3D movie because BVS was his last one, and it's like, those were obvious like post conversions on Man of Steel and BVS that Zach had no involvement in. And not to mention, that is literally like the last thing on anybody's mind with these movies. So that was like my only gripe, was just a lot of the questions were just really bad. And like, I wanted to, you know, so many of us, me, Ben, and so many other people wanted to ask like real questions. So that was annoying. But other than that, the weekend was amazing. You know, made some great friends, you know, got to go enjoy LA for 4 nights, you know, even though Edmonton's actually warmer than there right now, which is crazy. We have like all these wildfires going on, which is really bad, but that's besides the point. So I just want to thank anybody who's actually taken the time to kind of follow this with me and watch as I went on this sort of little journey for the weekend. And I'm hoping to get this video up within the next couple days. Like, I'm really busy at work and just other stuff going on in my life right now, and I also want to get the Guardians of the Galaxy 3 review, as well as that review I promised with some mini reviews for some movies I've seen lately. So I got lots in the pipeline. Forgive me for getting some of this out late, but I really wanted to focus on the Full Circle stuff. So thank you for watching. I'm hoping that the Snyderverse can continue one day, but if not, this was a really awesome way to kind of come full circle with it. And, you know, regardless of if this continues, I'm super excited for Rebel Moon, Zach's new movie, and then whatever the Army of the Dead universe continues on Netflix. So regardless, there's lots of exciting stuff coming. With that being said, I will see you guys soon with more videos.
Alright, so we're landed. It was probably one of the smoother flights I've been on in a while. It was just direct. Nobody was being rude. It was comfy, so it was good. Just waiting for my bags now, and yeah, I'll just update you guys when I get to the hotel.
Alright guys, finally I'm in Pasadena. It was quite the long ride from the airport to get here, but oh my god, this freaking hotel room is amazing. I don't think I've ever been in a place like this outside of like Las Vegas. It's crazy. You even have the freaking toilet in its own like enclosure. That's wild. Anyway, yeah, so I'm tired. I'm gonna go get some food and get some supplies for in the hotel, and not sure what else I'm gonna do tonight, but I will talk to you guys tomorrow when we do the WB studio tour and then Man of Steel. All right, day one. We're here at Man of Steel. Met up with some awesome people. Ben.
And
Julia.
sorry, yes, Julia.
Oh, yeah, hi, sorry.
I'm so bad with names.
There's
don't
so
take it
many
personally.
names today to remember.
And Emmanuel.
Emmanuel, hi.
Yeah. And we just bought some posters and some shirts. We're gonna go get some food at the food truck now. And they have some really cool statues up for silent auction that I would be getting if I could take it back home to Edmonton with me. But it's gonna be sweet. We're just enjoying the weather now, and I will update you guys tomorrow.
Everything all right? Okay. Okay. Good. All right. So it's Batman versus Superman. Dawn of Justice. Yeah. It's I don't know, 3 hours and 2 minutes. Yes, very good, Glory. I'll be back after with a few guests, and we'll talk a little bit about what went into it. There's a couple things. It wasn't a documentary, so we had to make up a lot of it. A lot of like sets and things. There was no real Batcave, so we had to build one. So anyway, that'll be fun. So again, enjoy. Thanks to everyone for coming out. Again, I'll thank you after, but thank you so much for coming out and participating in this event for an incredible cause. And thank you so much. But we'll talk more after. So please enjoy Batman vs. Superman. Dawn of Justice.
Sculpture, and it's going to be going for sale now, and 10% of the purchases of this weekend will be donated to AFSP. So if you would like to pre-order this, you can go to wetaworkshop.com
QR code it.
/shop. So thank you. We're really excited about this.
All right, day 3, Zack Snyder's Justice League. I'm here with
It's Random Words.
It's Random Words, and say your handle.
Restore the Sea.
All right, so yeah, we're just going to wait at City Walk now. Apparently, it's already like 80-something people waiting, so we got to get in line. And I will update you once we're inside.
All right, guys.
Stone jersey.
So grab your seats because, you know, Super Mario wants the theater. And maybe they're really going to make money. Aw. Not pure passion like this. All right, anyway, so there is a 15-minute intermission that comes at some point, sort of at the end of what would be a normal movie. And you'll get to jump up and use the potty or grab more corn or whatever. It's 15 minutes. Or just sitting here and listen to the sweet, chunky XL music. But, otherwise, and then afterward we'll have a little bit of this questions and answers and do pretty much what we've been doing all the last couple days. Again, thank you guys so much for coming out. And having me down here. It's amazing. And this whole weekend has been a huge success because of you guys, and so thank you so much. And thanks for my amazing group of volunteers and friends that making us, this whole thing possible. Because it doesn't just obviously, we show up and they play it. So it's a little bit team it harder than that. But again, thank you guys, and we'll talk some more afterwards. So, what do you think? Oh wait, quick housekeeping from Wes.